Moving on. Next tweet. The Vigilant Fox, this was a whole thread. I thought about just making this thread one of our news items, because this is, like, I've given my opinion on Mark Carney's meeting with Trump. And it was interesting to read it from the other side, because, like, this is a Trump fanboy who's been like, oh, Trump was totally maneuvering him with the art of the deal thing. And so, like, an example, like, we're watching the art of the deal play out in real time. Trump pitched annexing Canada. Carney campaigned against him. But when the cameras roll inside the Oval Office, something changed. Trump played the long game. And Carney, he might have unknowingly walked straight into Trump's trap. Let's roll the clips and break it all down. And then he got into how, like, oh, Carney opened by, like, trying to, you know, flatter Trump into doing stuff. And then Trump manipulated him into it. It was just like, no. Carney saw that if you go in with a hard stance like Zelensky did, Trump just shuts down and gets angry and nothing comes of it. So he was, and like the fact that his compliments were actually a very, it was very backhanded, like, it's a very Canadian thing to do, to say something nice to someone, but have it come across as not nice. So, like, maybe I'm just more attuned to that sort of thing, being of the Canadian culture myself. But, yeah, oh, Jess is pointing out, Kamala literally said you'll get whatever you want from him through flattery, and he nodded at that. Yeah, he's a very easy man to manipulate. You just suck his dick a little, and he'll give you whatever you want. And it is gross, and nobody wants to suck that dick. And like I said, I would have loved to see Carney have a similar meeting to Zelensky, but ultimately that would not have been very productive.
Though I will say the memes that came from the Zelensky meeting have all been great. Every single video that's just like, here's the meeting, how it should have gone. It's just Zelensky getting up and punching Trump. Yeah. Yeah, but it was really fascinating watching this guy try and twist that into, and especially because, like, there was so much in the meeting was Trump just, like, off on a tangent, talking about something that had nothing to do with anything. And this guy just skipped over those bits to go back to the few times that he actually said something relevant. It's like, okay, how is that the art of the deal if he spends half his time rambling like Abe Simpson?
You just don't understand. It's the art of the deal. Best-selling book in the entire world, next to the Bible. Maybe even better than the Bible, some have said.
Yeah. So do you think Trump engages in newspeak on purpose, or has he just got a very limited vocabulary because of his lack of intelligence?
Yes. All right, so you know how when you've got a shtick that's kind of unavoidable and you learn to lean into it because it's beneficial? I think it's that.
Yeah.
I don't think he does newspeak on purpose. I think it's that he
has trained himself into doing newspeak on purpose.
He is
like how I train myself to speak fast when I'm reading my scripts, because I listen to myself on 2x speed, and so I try to catch up with what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's like I can't think of a thing that I do where I lean into it. Maybe it's just the community building thing, because like I hosted LAN parties and stuff at my house all the time. So maybe it's that. I don't know.
I forgot. There was a good 10 minutes of the goddamn meeting where he was ranting about trains from San Francisco to LA.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck? What does that have anything to do with anything? And he was like, he brought Mark Carney into it. He like turns to him and it's like, you know, Gavin Newscum. I call him Newscum because I'm so clever. Trains are bad. He did a train that was bad. We spent so much money on the train that was bad. We could have like sent people in limos and that would have been cheaper. I'm just like, the fuck are you even talking about? It was so bad. But yeah, art of the deal. He got distracted by trains in the middle of the fucking meeting.
I mean, he definitely has ADHD then. if you're getting sidetracked by trains in the middle of an important meeting. But he's on so much
Adderall though. Shouldn't be getting distracted by it if he's on that much Adderall. Anyway, just thought that was interesting. Case Orbs posted a meme.
says, give up your pot to stop drug violence. Pot smoker says, but I don't commit violence. Then he says, welcome to the gun debate, which makes him cry. I'm just like, what?
But there's not a correlation between pot and violence. There's a correlation between pot and violence once you add in things like illegality and police presence. Like, once you start adding in all those factors, yes, but like, I can just take a gun and pull the trigger, and violence has been done to whomever that is towards.
Also, here's the thing, though. Giving up guns would stop a lot of drug violence. So, like, giving up pot won't actually stop drug violence, but giving up guns will. But somehow this is supposed to be a dunk on the gun debate? Like, I don't know. This is one of those things where it's like it's just so dumb that I almost have a hard time believing that it was a real post. K-Sorbs is also hawking ivermectin on his account now. You can use promo code K-Sorbs at whatever the fuck online pharmacy he's chilling for. So, like,
he's got to make money somehow.
Those Hercules royalties are drying up.
Yeah.
He's so sad, and it makes me so happy.
Chicago City Council has banned January 6 rioters from employment from the city.
Good for them.
I'm okay with that.
I wouldn't want someone who rebelled against the government to hold a government job. Seems like they wouldn't respect the office.
I mean, after they ransacked it, yeah.
So, yeah. Here's the Lindsey Graham tweet. It says, I was excited to hear that President Trump has opened the idea of being the next pope. This would truly be a dark horse candidate, but I would ask the papal conclave and Catholic faithful to keep an open mind about this possibility. The first pope-U.S. president combination has many upsides. Watching for white smoke. Trump MMXXVIII.
I don't want to be on this place any longer.
I saw so many people posting screenshots of this, and I was like, there's no way that's real. And then people were posting screenshots of it being like, I thought this was not real. And then I went to check, and this is my own screenshot. And I still didn't believe it was real. And then I went to find it myself. Lindsey Graham, the guy who once tweeted that if we elect Trump, it will be the end of society and we will deserve it, or something along those lines, is now tweeting that the guy we elected that I said would end society should also be the Pope.
New country, new everything. We should start over. We just need to start from scratch.
To be fair, make him Pope and he will destroy the Catholic Church in a hurry.
I mean, will he destroy it or will he make it great again?
He will sell all of its assets to him for $1. So the Catholic Church will lose a bunch of his assets, which is a good thing. And people in chat are saying clearly this has to be a joke. I don't think so.
No, this is 100% one of those things where you go, it doesn't matter if it's a joke or not.
It's a stupid thing to say.
This is one of those things you just don't say as a politician.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. And tell me again, it's not a cult.
Again, it's not a cult.
It's a cult.
It's the only difference between MAGA and a cult is organization. That's it. There's not an official MAGA organization for it other than
we'll make our own country with blackjack and hookers.
In fact, actually, screw the country. Trump's already doing that.
Mm-hmm. Lizzie says, Paul said to not deny your spouse sex. Well, if your spouse insists on having sex with you when you don't feel like it, that is called rape, even if you are married. So,
yeah.
Maxo redeemed a hydrate. I've got like 1 drop left, so no more hydrates. See that? That's all I got left.
Like if your partner says, no, I don't want to do stuff, you can have a conversation about like, hey, we haven't done stuff in a while, or hey, is everything okay? Do you want to talk about it? Those are the avenues that you can go down. You don't go down the you owe me sex because we're married.
Yeah, no, that is a dark path that nobody needs to take. Consent is always mandatory. Sean Helfin redeemed a hat. Haven't done duckies in a while. Rubber ducky, you're the one. You make bath time lots of fun. That's all I know of that song.
You can't see me, but I'm slowly moving further off of frame.
You don't know the Rubber Ducky song from Sesame Street?
Nope.
Well, that's because Trump defunded it. Oh, Fennec sent me a link and said I found your water bottle.
Hello.
Why is that my water bottle?
Why is that $124?
Because it's a hydro flask.
No. Why the fuck is that $124?
Because it's a hydro flask. You're paying for the brand. Paul also said not to get married and not have children. Mm-hmm.
Altfac says,
is
don't
it because
be
it's a
the
gallon?
booty warrior.
Is it because it's a gallon? Hey, I could finance a water bottle for as low as $12 a month. Zada Higala resubscribed. Thank you for resubscribing. Did you say something? You said yay. Yeah, there we go. It's a gallon. That's why it's my water bottle, because it's a gallon. But it's $125. I don't want to pay $12 a month for a water bottle. Oh. Let's see. Does it come in other colors? Oh, those are related products.
And now, this time on ADHD and autism, we have derailed ourselves. We are not thinking of trains. We are thinking of hydration, liquid. We are thinking of flasks.
Why does it only come in black?
And we are still on this right now. I actually don't know what's going to happen next in this exciting adventure of Hydro Flask Z.
Zed. You can't customize the gallon.
And we see that he is not only fixated on the customization options that are not there, but also on the way to pronounce Z. Here in America, we say it the correct way, and that's why we're going to invade his country and make it the 51st state.
Fuck your face right in its Z hole. Phoenix says we're not going to talk about how many Hydro Flasks I own. Okay, Nancy Mace said, spotted in Austin, all-gender restroom on a recent trip to Texas. No, there are only two.
I just saw John post about that on Facebook.
Here's the thing. Like, okay, she's fucking stupid. It's like, I don't... Like, even if she's right about there only being two genders, having an all-gender bathroom would be all two of them. Would it not? But also, it's clearly an accessible washroom, so it is probably a single stall with a locking door. So, like, anyone who wants to can just use that, because it's weird to gender segregate just a toilet behind a locking door all on its own. So, like, what's the issue? I mean, the issue is this is the lady that faked a hand injury from a handshake for attention, and then faked... Well, she didn't fake it. She claimed she was being assaulted by a guy who never got within 5 feet of her. And who she started swearing at because he asked her a question relevant to her job. So, yeah.
Look, she's not here to be correct. She's here to make a statement to people who are dumb enough to believe the point she's trying to make.
People like her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She is a dumb. You will not convince me that she is intelligent, because like she keeps on just she's trying really, really hard to win the Oppression Olympics, but she just doesn't manage. Like, is there her handshake thing got thrown out of court? And when she posted the bathroom thing, even people that agree with her were calling her out on it in the comments. So it's just like, she's just not good at what she's doing. She's good at getting people to make fun of her, is what she's good at. Her intelligence score is a 2 with a roll 4, drop 1. A 2 with roll 4, drop 1. I played D&D and I don't know what all those mean in that order. Like, intelligence score is a 2. I get that.
So you're rolling... You're rolling 4 int score base 2, and then you're rolling 4 dice and dropping one of them to get the final score?
Maybe. It means you take the 3 highest dice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm so confused.
I don't know. It's been a while since I've played. Roll 4d6, drop the lowest. The result of 1 + 1 + 1 is somehow 2, but just for her. Oh, okay. Okay. I got it. That was just a really nerdy way to say that her intelligence is impossibly low. Okay, I gotcha. NYCJJ says, overheard. William Henry Harrison had a better first 100 days, and he spent 70 of them dead.
Okay. Okay.
You don't find that funny? I thought this was funny.
I do find it funny, but I'm trying to remember what all William Henry Harrison even did in the first few days he was in office.
He died within 30 days. He gave a speech in the rain while he had crippling pneumonia, and then he died.
Yeah, I know this. I know the song because we actually had like a song to remember the presidents, and that was like died in 30 days was the thing for him. I'm trying to think of anything that he actually did beforehand outside of the speech.
No, he was bedridden after the speech, so he didn't do anything. Jeff Keith says, Zed, not Zed. The little band from Texas is not ZZ Top. Counterpoint, I actually do call them Lay-Zed boy chairs.
Old Gus says, ah, yes, Animaniacs. Look, Animaniacs is great for learning shit.
Also great for fingerprints.
Oh, you meant fingerprints. Sorry.
Mark Grote says, have you noticed how Justin Petersman and Mike Winger are moved by darkness? They constantly chase ghosts in the kingdom of God, but Jesus wasn't moved by darkness because he's a perfect light coming to a dark world. He doesn't respond, he acts with intention. Follow Jesus, not Justin. I love the last one just because my name is Justin.
I mean, I guess I understand what they're trying to say,
but
at the same time.
So the main thing I wanted to get out of this is that I pulled Mike's response to this. He said, prove it. Prove that I am motivated by darkness. Here's my 50-part series teaching through Romans. Here's my 70-part series teaching through the Gospel of Mark. Must I go on? You've attacked my name, my ministry, and I want you to justify it. So this reinforces the idea that, like, I have said often flippantly, without really much backing it up, that I think Mike Winger honestly believes that the person with the longest content wins the argument. I don't think I'm saying that flippantly anymore. I think he actually believes that, because he's like, oh, you're saying bad things about me? Well, here, watch through these 50 videos and these 70 videos, and then prove me wrong. I win, because I have more content.
I need you to dedicate 120 hours of your life to me. And only then.
And this is something that he does often enough that, like, so I kind of made fun of it in one video where he, like, he commented on how he's got hours and hours of material on this and hours on that. And, like, he seemed to be saying it as though the amount of it gave it more credibility. So I kind of poked fun at him for that. And then I'm like, okay, I was just leaving it alone because, like, whatever, it doesn't actually matter. I have hours and hours of content. Often I reference older stuff that I've done before. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. But then someone came into one of the middle videos of a series that I did on Mike, and one of the comments that he did was like, oh, well, you're taking Mike out of context. And, you know, he responds to this in, like, these... I forget exactly how it went, but, like, he actually used as a point that, like, Mike regularly puts out 3 to 4 hour videos, whereas yours aren't much more than an hour usually. And I'm just like,
who cares?
hey, why does that matter? So, like, someone that actually watches Mike Winger gets the impression that because there is a lot of Mike Winger content wins. Like, and now here he is being like, look at how many videos I have, therefore I'm not motivated by darkness.
You haven't created as many 8-hour long Vice Rhino monologuing videos for me to fall asleep to. You need to make more Vice Rhino monologues for 8 hours videos for me to fall asleep to. Otherwise, you're incorrect, and Mike Winger wins.
So I actually pulled that guy's comment of the day, the commenter that was like, oh, Mike Winger wins because he has, like, he regularly does 4-hour videos. And I pointed out that it's like, okay, well, Mike Winger doesn't actually do 4-hour videos. He streams for 4 hours. Like, I can do that. I stream for 2 hours regularly on my other channel, and then I chop the, like, this Mike Winger does it too. I chop the stream up into segments and upload them individually. Mike Winger will do his 10 questions thing, and then he'll upload each question individually. That's fine. I got no problem with that, but, like, it's a different format. It is so much easier to just talk off the cuff for a couple hours on stream and then chop it up into bits and upload it as individual videos. So much easier to do that than to actually script out a video, research that video, put thought into your responses, set up a whole, like, actual set. And, like, well, I mean, Mike's got a decent set as well, so I'm not gonna say that he doesn't do that for his streams. Like, this is my low effort streaming set. I moved the box of mini chip bags that was right behind me so that you wouldn't see that on the floor. It's now on the chair over there. But yeah, it is so much easier to just stream bullshit for a few hours than to actually do the same amount of content when it comes to research and stuff. And the thing that drove me nuts about this, though, is that his response was with regards to me kind of making fun of Mike because, like, he was talking shit about Nietzsche. And so, like, he read the Nietzsche quote. And so before I even continued watching Mike's video, I went and I read the entire essay that the quote was from. I read several reviews of that essay from people, like, there was one in particular was Henri de Lubac, the theologian. I read his review of it. He called it a work of genius. I read other people's opinions on it, because I wanted to understand, like, what exactly is he trying to say with this quote, because, like, Nietzsche's a difficult guy to parse out because a lot of the time he was writing satirically, and it's hard to figure out when he's doing that sometimes, because, like, he's writing in German, I speak English. But, like, after I did all that research, and I'm, like, writing paragraph after paragraph, I then, it occurred to me, it was like, oh, wait a minute, this is Mike Winger. I'll bet you he didn't put any, like, he just dismisses this offhand. I pressed play on the video that I was responding to. His next words were like, that's just snark and shallow thinking. He's just mocking Christianity baselessly. And then he moves on. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I put all that work into understanding what the fuck Nietzsche was saying just for you to be like, oh, he's mocking Christianity. See ya. It's like, it's snark and shallow thinking. Henri de Lubac, one of the preeminent theologians of the 20th century, said it was a work of genius. But don't worry, Mike Winger's here to say that it's just snark and shallow thinking. It's just, oh, Mike makes
you already know my history with Mike. I don't like Mike.
No, yeah, he makes me mad. He makes me mad.
Oh, he upsets me as well. Like, I have. Because his videos are so goddamn long, I don't respond to a lot of his
Mike
stuff.
Winger stares back. Yeah, that's a defense mechanism of his. That's what he does. I'm actually actively trying to make my videos a little bit shorter.
Like, I feel like if a video of mine hits 15 minutes, I'm already doing fine. Some of mine end up being like 20 to 40 minutes. And I start to feel really, really antsy if they get much longer than that.
Yeah, Justice says, I like long form. Yeah, so for me, it's more a question of practicality. When my video gets to be over an hour, then that means I've put so much work into it that I have lost time from my family. And I've been working evenings and nights. And like doing all sorts of who knows what. So it's like it's a work-life balance thing. I need to shorten my videos for myself.
Yeah, makes perfect sense.
Because I also prefer long videos, and like all else being equal, I would rather make them, but all else is not equal.
You'd rather follow the ethos of the video's length is whatever the video's length needs to be for me to make my point.
Yeah, well, that's part of it is I have trouble cutting things out because anytime I cut out a segment of a video, it feels like I'm taking them out of context. Like there's always a part of my brain that's like, okay, but I really should respond to this thing that they say here, even though it's not really important to what I'm saying in this overall video, or it's just like a rephrasing of something they've already said. I still need to say, because like, what if they see this video and then they'll be like, oh, well, you actually cut out my best analogy that actually perfectly explains that, when I wouldn't necessarily share that opinion that it perfectly explains it. So if I explain why I don't share that opinion, then you can't accuse me of taking it out of context. So yeah, it's a tricky balancing act. Like I even like in one video where I was responding to Greg Kokel recently, I had Piper cut out his, like he was thinking on the fly, and he did a lot of, like, there were a lot of pregnant pauses and ums and uhs in his response, which is fine. It was a live stream. I'm not gonna say like, oh, he doesn't talk fast enough, he spends too much time thinking about his words. Like, no, take all the time you want to think about your words. But I'm not gonna make my audience watch you sit there going for like 45 seconds. So I asked my editor to cut that out.
But what you could do is you could make a supercut of every time he says or and then just make that its own short.
So I actually considered, when I started my channel, this has been a concern of mine for so long. It goes back to the very beginning. And I considered, when I started my channel, making a second channel that is exclusively made up of all the stuff that I cut out of the videos that I'm responding to. So if anybody ever accuses me of taking something out of context, you can just go look at this channel here, where you can see that the things I took out of context were just, or the things that I cut out were just people going, and like stumbling over the words, or going off on random, Eric Hoven's brother was the worst for this. Like, he was trying to get him to explain why the moral argument for God is a good argument for God, and he would not stop telling stories about, like, oh, this one time I went to Arby's and my kid said, that's a really big sandwich, how are you going to fit that in your mouth? And then I did. And that's like God, because I don't fucking know. It was simultaneously the most fun and the most annoying video I've ever responded to.
I can imagine that becoming one of the most expensive videos if you did it now, because every single time he did one of those stories, you'd be like, Piper, animate it.
Oh God, yeah. I'm also bad for that, because like I will message Piper on, like, so our schedule, Piper is supposed to have the videos done for me by Monday. That usually doesn't happen because I'm usually late in getting the files to them, because Piper's supposed to have the files now. I have not finished my script, much less have I recorded. So the videos are always late. And it's my fault, not Piper's. But there will be times when, like, I record, I get them the files on like Thursday night when they're supposed to have them Wednesday morning, and be like, oh yeah, and by the way, can you also edit, or can you animate this segment for me? I think that would be funny. And Piper will inevitably just go like, yeah, I can do that. No problem. Tell me what you want. And it's great. I cosplay as Paula Gia in my next video.
Yep, I have borne witness to it. I have seen the behind the scenes of this. It is it's a thing.
Yeah. And also, just to stave off the criticism, I am aware that I am just as rambly as Eric Hoven's brother. But like, that's why I script myself in my regular videos.
Oh, I know for a fact that I am incredibly rambly, but I will 100% call it out when anybody does it. I'll just also say, by the way, I'm not throwing the stone from a glass house. I'm chucking the house at you, and I am riding it. I am rapidly coming to your position.
Oh, anytime I accuse anyone of being verbose, I always throw in a jab at myself at the end and be like, and this is me we're talking about. Have you seen my videos? Jassa says, yeah, but y'all are likable in your rambles. Yeah, and when I script my rambles, they're actually relevant.
Jassa.
When I'm scripting, I will start going off on a tangent, then I'll be like, hey, wait a minute. This isn't actually related to the original thing I was saying. And then I delete the last half hour of work that I did. It is painful, but it is necessary.
Look, it's not that when I ramble, I'm likable or it's likable, Jassa. It's that when I ramble, it's about Magic the Gathering, which you are also fixated on.
That helps. That certainly does help.
That's the issue.
Yeah.
Jassa responded in my chat. Yes, sir, is correct.
Okay. Well, this is the last tweet. We're back to AIG.
I mean, the differences between Mike Winger and AIG are stunningly brief.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever heard him take a stance on evolution. He's one of the cowards that tries to have it both ways. He won't ever acknowledge.
So he's a Cameron.
Yeah. He won't ever say that evolution is real because he knows that the younger creationists that watch him will then leave. And he doesn't ever dare say that evolution's not real because then the people that do believe evolution will stop watching him and taking him seriously. So he's one of the cowards that refuses to take a stance on what is ostensibly a very important issue to Christians.
Not that it should be. Whether the world is 6,000 years old or 12 gajillion, you can still believe in your deity. It doesn't fucking change anything.
Yeah.
People are weird.
But he keeps commenting on it and then being like, and even if it is real, which maybe it is, I don't know. Like, it's fine if you don't know. If you're a layperson and you're not interested in evolution, for you to be like, yeah, no, I don't know and I don't care. That's fine. You do that. But don't speak about it as though you have any sort of authority on the matter.
Yep.
Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full-time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Leela Ururaka, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fire Shard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.